Greetings. Thank you for coming to my channel. This is ASMR Vow. And I'm coming to you at the midnight hour, at least where I live, because there was something I really need to tell you about. But before I even get to that, you might be wondering, what is he wearing on his face? What is that thing? For those who don't know, this is a collagen tiger mask. My first one ever. I found it in a bargain bin at the local Hot Topic. So I have to say thank you to Hot Topic for an inexpensive face mask, which I'd always been a little curious to try. These have become, I think, more in vogue as of late than the traditional like mud masks, which I had tried before. I've had many mud masks and those are delightful, but I always thought this might be fun, so I thought I would try it out with you. Let me take a look at the packaging. You can see that. See how it feels. And it reads, "Perk Up Skin Animated Animal Face Mask infused with anti-aging collagen essence." That sounds nice, huh? Add character to your beauty regimen. Made in Korea. Okay. And then on the back, it says, "Tame dark circles with this tireless tiger for an instant youthful glow. Infused with, looks like with was printed twice. Oopsies. That's a typo. That's okay. The essence of collagen. This anti-aging face mask revitalizes skin. Revitalizes. Kind of like that word. I like that word. Do you like that word? It revitalizes skin and prevents fine wrinkles. And it includes a fun fact. It reads here, no two tigers have the same stripes. I did not know that. Wow. According to the Chinese zodiac, I am a tiger person. And if I remember correctly, tiger people are said to be courageous, sometimes cruel, independent, even regal, I think, or stately, kind of lordly, that might be the term, as a tiger should be. And then, of course, there are other things I could talk about, but I don't have the information in front of me. You can Google it if you like. That's not even why I'm here, though, to talk to you. The thing that I had to tell you about, let me adjust this real fast. So the thing that I really wanted to discuss was a book that I had just finished reading. I've stayed up late to make it through the final pages. I finally read and finished Crazy Rich Asians. Maybe you've heard of that recently. There's a movie out that I now want to go see. I've been trying to get through this book quickly. After my mom very kindly gifted it to me about a little over a week ago, actually. So I've had this book for like a week. And so I haven't read it every day. And I'm a slow reader, so it has taken me, over a week to finish it. But I finished it and I liked it, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't really have any friends. That sounds sad. Friends who are up at this hour anyway, who would even care about this book. I don't think, or if they did, they haven't said anything to me about it when I mentioned it on my socials the other week. So I'm going to talk about it with you. Here is the cover, in the book itself. It's the actual book, it's not just the cover. I always love how books sound. Can you hear the pages? National bestseller, Crazy Rich Asians, a novel by Kwan. Thank you, Kwan, for this very fun and entertaining, thought-provoking novel. It reads here, there's rich, there's filthy rich, and then there's crazy rich. A Pride and Prejudice like send-up. And that was from People magazine. On the back side, there are several anecdotes. It says, a dizzily shopaholic comedy, wickedly delectable. That was an author from the New York Times. Rollicking, says the Boston Globe. Must read the Hollywood Reporter. Hilarious. ... A riot. And that was from the Denver Post. Opulence and zaniness reign. Oh, the Oprah magazine. It's impossible not to get sucked into this satirical novel. And that's from Glamour magazine. And then Juicy, says Elle. And then finally, a 48 karat read. Crazy fun. And that's from Entertainment Weekly. So, I had learned about the movie through some online advertisements. It was like months ago. I didn't really know what it was. Sorry, this mask is really kind of weird. There we go, it's better. I think a little bit better. I can talk more freely. And then I learned, just by chance really, I think it was an email I had received that it was a book. And I thought, oh, well, that's nice. I didn't really have any inclination to go read it. But then, just the other week, the end of August, I went down to my hometown to visit my mom for her birthday, which was wonderful. I hadn't seen her in a little while. She's great. We had a nice dinner together with my grandparents as well, and my uncle, in my hometown. So it was a nice little homecoming. And then, in, I guess you could say, true mom fashion, she gave me a present. And, I was very grateful for it. I didn't want to refuse it. It just happened that I had mentioned reading and books. I'd asked her if she was reading anything, and one thing led to another. We were just talking about books and movies, I believe, and somehow or other we got to Crazy Rich Asians, and she said, oh, well, I actually have a copy of that someone had given me. Do you want it? I said, oh, well, of course, if you're not reading it, yes, I would love to take that and read it. And she said, well, you can have it, and actually I have another book that a friend gave me by the same author, I believe, and sure enough, it's the sequel to Crazy Rich Asians, so I actually have books 1 and 2. But this is just about book one. So, um, you know, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's nice to have a book that you can go to and just sort of lose yourself in and just forget about work and stress and, your like just life problems or whatever's going on for you. Books have always had the ability to transport me. It's very easy, and therefore it's very enjoyable and relaxing to me and stimulating all at the same time. And so I just love to read. I have ever since I was a kid. And this book, it was like I think 500 pages or so, not like a huge novel, but definitely some substance to, some weight to it. It took a little time to get through it. You get to know the characters, and that's one of the things I really liked. The author, Kevin Kwan, took great pains to really describe the characters so that you didn't just feel like they were plopped there to be part of the narrative. No, the characters took primacy over the narrative, and they made the story come alive. And so I felt like I got to know Nick, Eleanor, his mother, Elle, who I believe is portrayed in the film version by Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh. I don't know if I said that right. Sorry. Love her. I've loved her ever since I saw Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon way back in like 2001 when I was in high school. I'm probably saying way too much there, but I saw it. I loved it. I got the DVD, soundtrack, listened to the music. It's great. Gorgeous, lush, beautiful, powerful, inspiring. The adjectives could go on and on and on and on. But if for no other reason, I would go see the movie because Michelle Yeoh is in it. That sums it all up right there. So anyway, Nick, Eleanor, his mother, who's one of the crazy rich Asians. She's ridiculous in the novel. Then Nick's girlfriend, Rachel, who's very admirable, intelligent, just lovely character that you end up like rooting for. You throughout the whole novel, you love her. The author did a good job of making you love her. You want to see her come out winning in this. You want for Nick and Rachel to work out and for things to be okay despite the craziness of the families in Singapore and Hong Kong and other parts of Asia, all just sort of descending upon their bliss. They were happy, and then the family intervenes, and just hilarity ensues, craziness ensues, drama unfolds quite quickly, and it's nonstop, pretty much from beginning to end. So, oh, excuse me, sorry. Let me have a sip of my water here. Hold on. I don't know why every time I do one of these, it's like I have to burp, but as if on command. There we go. That's embarrassing. But I'm not going to edit it out. That's just reality. So, where was I? The characters are great. There's a cast of several. Astrid, she's wonderful. Her marriage is falling apart. What is she going to do? Her husband, Michael, who apparently is just gorgeous and very humble and hardworking, and from the military, is just not happy with being part of a crazy rich Asian family, and so they gotta try and make things work out, or well, they really don't. If you read the book and then see the movie, I don't know if it's step by step like the book, but I don't want to spoil it, but basically Michael is like no, I can't deal with this. What else? Just the book painted a really nice picture of the intricacies of family, especially family that belongs to old money, like very, very rich old money clashing with the new money of the era of this like postmodern sort of rising economic powerhouse that is China and surrounding areas, Asia in general, where these very, 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 very extremely rich Asians live a life of opulence and luxury that you can't even really imagine. You just have to be there, experience it to know what it's like. And the author does a good job of, portraying that in the book through the eyes of Rachel, through her perspective. She's an outsider to this. She's American-born Chinese. Well, you come to learn in the novel's that's not entirely accurate. But in any event, she basically grew up here in America, and I just say that because I shouldn't assume that y'all know that, but I do live in America. I'm American. Rachel was raised in California. So she's invited over to Singapore for the summer with her boyfriend Nick, who has not told her that he's part of a very, 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 very super deluxe rich family, and that they're old money and that they have very firm traditions. And when she meets his family, there's just all kinds of these schemers and plotters who would see the relationship fail and who are vying for the family money, and even the matriarchs of the family seemingly to Nick's face claim to want him to be happy and to be okay with his girlfriend that he's bringing home for the first time. In all fairness, he had not introduced Rachel to his family at all, so this is the first meeting, and they've been dating for like 2 years. But then behind his back, the family, the matriarchs, they're plotting to try and bring Rachel down, and so we get to follow along as she meets the family, goes pretty much along with this extravagant wedding that's been planned for Nick's friend, Colin. Nick is the best man in Colin's wedding, so he and Rachel are going to be at the wedding, which apparently is kind of like the royal wedding, sort of in grand scope. It's that big of a deal. And so in Singapore, all these well-to-do and influential and affluent creme de la creme types are descending upon the venue that everyone's talking about. It's been publicized, and Rachel knew none of this, so she's just sort of plopped into the middle of it. And so it's a story about her just trying to deal with it, and you can really, I think a lot of us can identify with her character and just sort of sympathize, maybe even empathize, and think like, oh my gosh, like, what would you do if one moment you're living a pretty modest life in New York, you're a college professor, and your beloved asks you to accompany him or her overseas to meet the family, and when you get there, all of a sudden it's like, wow, we're riding in first class. No, strike that. The plane belongs to your beloved. It's that person's plane, and you're being served like champagne and fancy culinary, cuisine at the drop of a hat. You've got attendants and servants all of a sudden like waiting on you. You get there to Singapore, and everyone you see seems to be dressed in these like $1 million wardrobes, and there's designer names left and right, and haute couture, chic fashion, like here and there, and I don't even know if I said that right, but that's basically what it was. Where you go from like department store at the mall type of a situation to you're standing there at Fashion Week in Paris or something like that, just wondering like, where in the world am I and what is going on and who are these people? How do they just drop $1 million on like a ring that they may not even wear, and they might just toss? It's like that kind of crazy rich that is described in the novel. So very fun, very entertaining, very well written, grammatically sound. I can say that because I've taught grammar classes before. That's a fact you may not have known about me. The author had some great editors. I don't know if he edited it fully himself. I'm sure he has a great team behind him, though. And beautifully written, too, though. Lovely use of the language, the English language. I thought this was a nice novel to just enjoy for the descriptive descriptive use of the language. You know what? I don't even know, scrap that, what I'm trying to say, but you get what I'm getting at here, that it was nice to read, and things were described nicely. The scenes came alive through the words. You could imagine how lush this countryside was, how plush the dwellings were, and luxurious they were. It's like, I don't know, that pop song by Gwen Stefani during her solo career, where she sings about this kind of life is getting expensive. How does the rest of it go? So luxurious or something like that, Working so hard every night and day, now we get the payback. There we go. I'm remembering it now. It's coming to me. Flying first class, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go listen to that later now. It's in my head. But luxurious, yes. It's a nice look into a world that you might only be able to dream about or imagine. Work of fiction too, but the author includes notes on like every other page that describe for you a term, a phrase that's uttered in the language, the Hokkien slang, or Malaysian or Mandarin, whatever language it is that they're speaking. Usually there's a footnote that helps you to understand what it is that is being conveyed. So that led to a very nice feeling of authenticity to this as well. I liked it. And at the end of it, I felt like it was tied up nicely so that you could leave the characters and know the protagonists, they're going to be okay. However, and this might be a spoiler, so be careful, there was no marriage proposal. The protagonist, even though you felt like it was about to happen, and it almost did a couple times, it just doesn't. So that's probably going to be the sequel novel. Also, the mother character, who's pretty scheming and nasty, doesn't face any sort of ramifications really, other than her son kind of stops talking to her, and so we'll have to see if they mend their relationship or not. She basically tries to ruin things with his girlfriend, who's a really great person, and her plan backfires. After much drama, after much ado, eventually it doesn't work out. Thank goodness Nick and Rachel are together again, and Rachel ends up learning some things about her family history that are really eye-opening for her, but important to know, thanks to Nick's meddling mother. So oddly enough, that ends up working out. We don't really know exactly what's going to happen with Astrid and her husband, Michael. They're not together anymore by the end of the novel, but she would like to work things out. She claims to love him, and she's going to take things slowly and patiently and give it a year on the advice of her ex, actually, Charlie. A man who, oh gosh, Charlie, he really loves her. And he'll do anything for her, even after she left him years ago. They were to be married, but she canceled. She threw a Frosty in his face, like a Wendy's Frosty, you know? Like, they've had their ups and downs. They've had some drama. So they're old friends who, by the end of this novel, have sort of found each other again, and he helps her out a lot. And that was really sweet. I really hope things work out well for Charlie. He deserves a happy ending. And I think Astrid does too. So we'll see. I don't know how the movie's going to handle that. I'll be interested to see. In any event, that's pretty much all I had to say about that. Go read the book if you haven't. Go see the movie if you all wanna. It's being touted as a triumph for Asian actors and actresses. I'm pretty sure it's mostly like an all Asian cast, and it's the kind of movie that typically, like a romantic comedy, you may not see, at least done in Hollywood. If it's an Asian lead, they're usually some sort of martial artist, there's some sort of a warrior. That's the stereotype. And so this is breaking that stereotype, and I think that's good. And I know just by following Michelle Yeoh on her Instagram, she's super happy about it and its success, and that she got to play a part in it. So I'm happy that she's happy. I didn't want to say, you might have noticed the little ring that I'm wearing. I don't know how well you can see that. This is just a piece of costume jewelry that my aunt was very kind enough to give to me, and so I wanted to give her a little shout out. But I wear it, from time to time, and it's not the usual claw that I have in these videos, but that's okay. This is not the usual mask that I have in these videos, changing things up. Changes. And then also, lastly, on the theme of the crazy rich Asians, I have this fake $100 bill. There we go. Can you hear the texture? It's just a shiny 100 that I keep in my wallet that's supposedly supposed to bring you good fortune, especially in like the financial department, which I think I could use. So I just want to show you that. What would it be like to be crazy rich, I wonder? Oh, that's nice. Alright, so with that, I'm going to go. I do need to get my beauty rest. First, I need to take this mask off and let the collagen do its thing, I guess. Apparently, according to the instructions, you don't have to wash your face. You just let the magic work. So, I'll be going to bed. Or maybe I'll stay up and edit this and then post later. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I bid thee adieu for now. Take care, and I'll see you soon.